So as we see here, project has been updated a bit. File for GameMaker Studio is in the description, so you can compile it on your own. And as you see, the graphic have been improved a bit. This is a generic material. I show later on how they are switched, because we can switch them during the gameplay. So the point was to get some material kind of hand-drawn. This is one of them. The whole map currently have around 26,000 vertices, so for collider it is a bit too much. And for the potato I'm using currently, it is a bit overwhelming. As we see, we have line shaders and some noise textures to be shown later on about the graphic. The character itself have a bit different kind of shading than the rest of the terrain because of scale. So line scale is also included. And as we see, we have some untypical objects like jump back. Okay, so this one is doors, automatic doors, so we just pass here, detect us, and so we can go, close them just by waiting here. So this is a normal object. We can also switch material so it looks better, but for now it is just flat. So it works as a normal wall, and if we open it, we can pass through. The changing of the collisions is taking around 2 frames with so big collider, so it is quite fast. And it works that way that if I cross the triangles that are about to inform the doors to open, in the given modulo time it switch, and then it has some cooldown time and so on. Here we have objects that have no collider, so we can pass through it. I just didn't think about the scale when I were making object in 3D Max. So this is decoration only, it's just a ghost. But that's the point how the grass will look like later on. And this one is how the object should look like about the geometry, where the collider is not exactly what the geometry is. So here what we have, we see the object itself. We're thinking because I didn't adjust the vector of upward downward. We are going by gravity. It's about to be fixed later on when I start working with gravity, because if we have a vector we can turn it as the light and sun and so on. So this object is one what was the whole point, because the terrain around us is just a collider. What we see here around it is the collider without any geometry above it. And here we see the different kind of material in shader. So the only texture we have here is in fact color by the face of the triangle taken from texture, but above this is drawn some shading. This bump is also with too high force, but it is now just for debugging. I just need to cut it off because otherwise I'll be sinking in the walls, and it is some rescue stuff that works in the background, that if I sink through the wall, I just get bumped with too high force for now, but it is about to be. This is a minor issue. Because we have so many triangles, sometimes the memory drop something in the places we shouldn't. similar things. Also shader can crash because some array was not set, but for sure it was working for now and just is not set now. Okay, so those different materials I'm about to show. But let's start with collider things. This is the most important. What we have here. To start the game, if you are in, so you will be in the situation where you operate camera. Let's show it how it begins. So you will be having a camera controlled by the keys and mouse. So usual stuff. This camera is inertial. It is quite fast. It's speeding up and slowing, and with shift you can do precise movement. It's like brake. And to turn character on, you can select the controller, like pad, or let's say we take a K mouse, we switch off the camera so we can see from the character, and we activate the character. We can of course deactivate camera because it will be moving. Now we are moving character with keys. So control is to speed up, space is for jumping, and doing was doing something. Okay, so this is the situation you have in the start of the game. You want to try this project, but let's focus on the camera itself. The camera itself is hanging somewhere in the air. Let's go back to the mouse. We see the camera is floating here. This is the camera we have. It's just not colliding with anything. Let's go to the camera. So we have our stuff. This is the level. Let's get a view. The level is quite a bit. It is 8 times bigger than I should use in the game, but I was trying to press the performance as much I can. So it is quite complex. This is the ancient labyrinth beneath. Ancient means I didn't know how to do the labyrinth, so I tried in 3D Max what I can, and then I just added more and more stuff, trying to make some catacombs and caves and so on, to see if colliding with geometry works correctly as I expected. This is working good enough. I can put some more testing because our character is moving physically, and it has only 4 or 6 points of collision around him. But it works good enough, and mostly is colliding with foot or hands to hang or move or walk or something like that. So in this complex terrain it works perfectly, almost. A few tweaks I need to do about it, and such complex geometry is about to be involved in the gameplay. So let's go to the shader. Okay, this one is a specific object just to show what I'm about to do. And this is mostly work in the 3D Studio, so okay, we now see a geometry. We turn on colliders, so we see colliders with a different source texture. So we colors, different colors, and now we see only colliders. So the collider of the stone is similar to the terrain. It is not complex. This is our character. Now we can put geometry on over the colliders. So this is geometry, this is the collider. If we take our character to perform movement, do this. So we are climbing on those red pieces. We are detecting them. But to show something for the player, we have those another geometry. As we see, the terrain around have same collider and the geometry. This flickering is because we have now colliders and geometry in the same place. So choose the Z buffer. So this is basically how it works. And if we are about to see the helpers, so they are mostly arrows showing us where the objects have its anchor points or where they exist in the space, where there is origin. So we see the bushes have origin here, and there is origin for the doors, and so on. Let's go back to camera, and we can see the doors, colliders. This is a detector. So we are now only on the collider, they're not the helpers. And what do we see here? This is the collider. So some triangles just to, if you collide with this triangle, switch some value in the doors, and this some value is the object editor. We have doors selected. We can use different parts of the door itself, collider, activator. Okay, and if we go here, we have perform action. So we choose perform action. Of course, it will not do anything now because object is inactive. But when I collide with the object, with the activator, object is activated, performing an action, and deactivates. So as we see, it activates automatically. I cannot even activate because it is value of perform action is 0. Whatever I put here, it doesn't matter. Try to not push those buttons around because I didn't block them in the editor and they just stayed from another part of the project. So they can be pushed, but if you try to add one to string, it's gonna end badly. So here we have activation. That's all. Okay, so this is our collider, and I tweak some other things, mostly shaders. But let's start with materials. Camera menu. Take our doors. So every part of the object can have different kind of material. This is material 0, so nothing like pass-through shader and then some lines on the edges and so on. This is material 1. As we see, this is kind of this. Shading is performed from 0 to 1 in general. So if we take surface check, we see lighting 0, and when it is very dark, like here, 0.3. I did it by dot product, so it is from -1 to 1, but I'm tired of games where everything is black because it is dark and dungeon and so on, and I don't see a shit. Okay, let's continue in the next video.